Alright, welcome to part 2. We're going to lay down a terrain first. So, if you guys recall, go over to Game Object, 3D Object, and click Terrain. Perfect. Double click on your terrain, you'll be able to see it, zoom in. Terrains are pretty big, they're 500 by 500. What I like to do is I like to rename my objects to help me keep everything organized. I'm going to just call it ground because it's the ground. Now, as you remember, if you click on ground and then you're on the inspector over here, you have a bunch of options. Here is your position, the rotation, and the scale. You can't change the scale of a terrain. Another thing just to keep in mind, if you ever need to position everything into 0 and reset everything, you can click this little thing and click reset, and that resets everything. That will become helpful once you get more objects inside your game. So let's color this really quick so we have a better idea of what it's going to look like. If you remember, this is how you do the mountains over here, and this is how you color it, this little paintbrush on the far right. Let's click the paintbrush. You can choose your tool later on, but remember, the first texture you put in, it places it on the entire thing, then you can start painting. So come right down here and hit Edit Texture, Add Texture. Now we're going to come over here to the bottom left and let's go to our standard assets texture folder and let's pick one of these textures. I am going to just pick, let's do the sand. I'm going to take the sand, put it in the first box, click add, and now it added the sand to my terrain. Perfect. Now that I'm in here, we might as well just add some more textures here so we can do some painting later on. So I'm going to just go edit, add texture, and let's just add everything that I got. Let's add the bricks, hit add. If you notice it comes up here, we're going to just do this a few times. I'm going to add the dirt, add, the dirt's there, edit, add texture. Let's add the grass, add, edit, add texture. What else do we got? Rocks. Oops. Let's get the rocks. And then the last one is the water. Let's get that in there too. Boom. So the reason I did that is now it's a little bit easier. Let's say I want these bricks. I can now come up here, I can choose my paintbrush, and then I can start painting what I want. Okay? So now that I have a few in here, remember you can download some off the internet and stuff like that, but let's just use these for right now. Just a quick reminder, if you want to start making some mountains, remember you click this little button here, you choose which brush you want to use. I like to use this one for the mountains. Choose the size of your brush right here. And we can just start building some mountains just like that, just so we have perspective. And if you want to color, let's color a couple of one really quick so it looks pretty. Let's grab some rocks. And I'm going to get this paintbrush, I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to just do this really quick. Obviously you'll spend more time doing it, I'm just going boop, 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 just so we have an example. Beautiful. Now after you have a terrain down, let's get a player in there so we can walk around. Okay? So what you want to do is, if you look over here on the far left, you'll see your favorites. After you start installing stuff and downloading things, you can go into all materials. These are all the colors I just made, see? Models, these are some of the stuff we downloaded, prefabs, and scripts. These have the scripts I made and some that come with it. So let's go to prefabs, and we're going to look for first-person shooter controller right here. Now, just a quick tip, if you don't like the way this is viewed, like this with icons, you can come all the way here to the bottom right and play with this little lever, and then this gives you a different view. I kind of like it this way a little bit better. So you don't have to do that though, take your first-person player controller and drop it into your hierarchy. Perfect. Double click on it. Let's see where he is. It goes right here to the far corner. It's positioned once again at 0, 0, 0, which is this far corner. We're going to quickly come over here to your hierarchy and hit right click, rename it. We're going to rename this player. Okay? Very good. Now let's take the player and let's put him in the center of our plane. Now there's multiple ways we can do this. The first way is going to be a little bit more difficult. Remember, if you double click, you go straight to it. Here are some of your tools which you remember. This one is the move tool. So if I click this, I can move the red, which is the x-axis. If you notice right here, the position of the x-axis is changing over here on the far right. The blue is the z, if you notice that's changing, and the y is the up and down, see? And we do actually want to bring this up a little bit because you want to be above your terrain. Now let's say I want to get it in the middle. Well, I can do a little bit of math really quick. I know this is 500, 500, so when you do the math, if I put my position in my x and my y as 250, 250, I'm just typing it in here on the far right, that'll take me right in the middle. And oh look, I accidentally created that mountain right kind of in the middle of it, which is fine, but what I'm going to do is actually take my Y and I'm going to bring it up, just so I fall down into the mountain. Let's hit play and see what happens. Perfect. Now I'm in and I can walk around. So build up your scene really quick. You don't have to be perfect, but kind of make it nice and cool. And then on the next step in part 3, I'm going to show you how to create some coins to pick up or some objects. Very good. Later.